There's a quote that I'm going to share with you from one of my favorite horror directors that I think perfectly embodies his style of film, and I haven't looked at his work the same since hearing it. Quote, "Since I see technology as being an extension of the human body, it's inevitable that it should come home to roost." End quote. That comes from the legend himself, Mr. David Cronenberg. You ask for miracles, Theo, I bring you body horror. If you're unfamiliar with the works of Cronenberg, stop everything you're doing and go discover this Canadian treasure. You can thank me later. His beautiful ability to layer the fears and uncertainties of our own bodies with technology while being rooted in heavy human emotion is unmatched by anyone. Early 80s aesthetic, booming symphony scores, and grotesque gore. Need I say more? Today, Ozark Mark and I are going to discuss one of his most influential films to ever grace the silver screen. That, my friends, is the 1981 explosive sci-fi horror, Scanners. There are scenes in Scanners that you can't unsee. They live with you forever. So it's time to go into the flick that has played in our head rent-free since our adolescence. Folks, without any other introduction, I bring you Scanners. Boom! Welcome to the Sloppy Horror Podcast. I am your host and your scary movie companion, Christian Ramey. And back again for another week, clapping them cheeks and bussing on your sister and mom. What's going on? No, I'm just kidding. Mark's a nice guy. Mr. Ozark Mark, you guys know him well, all right? He's been here for a long time. You know the guy. You know what he looks like, all right? I think he's reading my mind down there.
What?
I think he's reading my mind down there.
Hello.
My nose is starting to bleed down here. I'm freaking out.
Huh. I wish I had that. Anyway. Stop. Oh, we'll get into that. Hello, boys and girls. Welcome back. I'm glad to see you or, talk to you, however you're doing this. We're back up in here for another fantastic episode here in the Wildcard season of the fantastic, one-of-a-kind, sloppy horror podcast right back up in your ass.
Wildcard!
Wildcard. And we have a treat for you today. We're getting into a little bit of the sci-fi era. Mm-hmm. The sci-fi era.
A little bit of that body horror.
And what are we talking about here today?
Folks, I think we are christening this ship here at the Sloppy Horror Podcast. This is our very first David Cronenberg movie. And if you know David Cronenberg, he's all about his body horror. We're talking about Scanners. Scanners! Scanners! Have you ever seen Scanners?
Have you ever heard of Scanners?
Do you happen to have Scanners on tape?
The guy's head exploded.
Folks,
Scanners.
You guys know about this. If you're a horror movie fan, I don't know how you wouldn't know about this piece of Canadian gold. Absolutely love it. I love all of Cronenberg's work. He kind of almost makes they're not comic books. These aren't comic books. But his movies, obviously, if you think of The Fly with Jeff Goldblum, you think of The Dead Zone, you think of this, you think of Shivers, and it's all about kind of something, an elite power or something happening with your body that's a change. And in this movie, Scanners, people are reading brains. It's this is definitely some inspiration for Stranger Things. There's a lot of things that I think this movie is really inspired, but the whole reading of the brains and then your nose starts bleeding and that whole kind of thing, I think that comes from this movie. I mean, I think there's a lot of tropes that come from this, and at the bottom of it, Cronenberg not only makes great horror movies, but they're kind of like operas, they're symphonies, and he very much incorporates those music, and that's kind of his words, what he says, but he likes it to be a part of that. It's a journey, and I just really love his work, and I'm so excited to finally talk about Scanners. I don't know about you, but all kids growing up, man, this was like that tape you put in, how you want to see something cool? This guy's head gets blown off, like, immediately, like, very early in the movie. Like, I would say probably 15 minutes in. This guy's head blows up.
Yeah, it's fair. It's quite soon, which is good. Gets us in there. Gets us right into, the deep end right away.
I like that a lot. And this movie does start hot and heavy. But, I mean, I guess they deserve a synopsis. These folks are begging, please, puppy, give me a synopsis. That's what they say to me. And I'm like, you wait your goddamn turn. And you get in line. We need to talk about scanners. All right. So, folks, before we do this, I do need to remind you, you guys know you listen to the show week after week, and we make it through all the way without one goddamn commercial because we love you folks, and we don't like to water down our shit for nickels and dimes. But what we do like is to recommend some bonus content and a very cheap way for you guys to support our show. And if you'd like to do that, you go to patreon.com/sloppyhorror. There you will find, how many episodes you think we got up there now, Mark? On Patreon?
30 plus.
30 plus. So we're building quite an inventory over there. So
there's over 100 episodes combined.
Boom, boom.
That's over 100 hours total, if you think about it, of quality content.
Yes.
I mean, your asshole is like that. That's how much content we're putting up in there.
It's a big year for us here from, actually getting established with merchandise, all kinds of things, and actually being really serious. I feel like we got one foot in front of another, and I'm just excited to be able to give you guys something and a way that we can support the show without you having to buy something or just give us money. Like, this is here. You guys get a bunch of content, and we just appreciate you guys for sticking around week after week.
Speaking of that, man, I am looking forward to once we figure out the merchandise thing. And the shirt ideas that we're going to come up with, because I make them all.
Yeah?
They're going to be pretty funny.
Make them. Make funny T-shirts.
Oh, I make funny T-shirts. Mm-hmm. They're going to be funny T-shirts. Mm-hmm. There's going to be one with just your face on it. Because, dude, when I'm editing, I swear, I just click stop randomly, and you make the weirdest faces.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, don't put those on T-shirts.
I'm putting them on T-shirts.
All right, we are not having merch, actually, boys and girls. That's why Mark does not make merchandise.
What if you had like 20 different shirts or at a convention with your face on it? People are like, who the fuck is this guy?
But they're just like, they're like all random. Like one's like a mug shot, one I'm sleeping, like one I'm like in like cardinal clothes, like the Pope. Like, what the fuck?
Sorry, we got sidetracked there, but continue. Please, start.
Oh, about scanners.
Yeah.
Okay,
scanners.
So it's really hard not to say it like that, guys.
Scanners.
Say it once and you'll say it forever.
Don't do it.
What we have going on here, guys, is we have a guy named Cameron Vale, okay? And at the beginning of Scanners, you see this guy roaming around in a mall. Nothing seems too crazy until these people...
Back in the good old days when you could smoke in a mall.
I know. It was incredible. The whole aesthetic is so cool. Mm-hmm. I love it.
I love that mall. That mall looked pretty cool.
Oh, it was fantastic. Like, that's the one thing I love about Cronenberg movies is the fact that the lighting, the early 80s aesthetic. Like, there's a late 80s aesthetic that I love, too. It's a lot more big hair, a lot more stuff like that. But those early 80s, like Dawn of the Dead, like, I mean, that's late 70s, but like that time frame, that feel... I love it. The synth wave music that was right at the beginning. That's why I like synth wave music now. Now it sounds a lot better, cleaner, and crisper, but you listen to the old stuff, and it's very archaic. You hear how they made it, but it's awesome. It really does add to those scenes. I don't know about you, but I love the scores going on with all these movies.
Absolutely. So we're starting out here in the mall. Continue.
Okay. So... we're in the mall with our guy Cameron Vale, who we think is a guy. And then all of a sudden, he locks eyes with these two ladies eating lunch, and he's sitting down, and they're kind of like mumbling, talking shit about him. But he locks eyes with this girl, and he just starts shaking and kind of like, it's almost like a real intense staring contest, and you could tell he's locked in. And then this lady starts convulsing and falls down and falls out. Then all of a sudden, guys with coats come out of nowhere looking for that guy. They're chasing him.
Why is it always guys in coats?
I don't know.
If I'm in public and I see two guys in coats, I'm running away.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. That's bad news.
Those guys ain't right. Those guys are trying to get you.
Something's going on
with these guys in coats.
So, come to find out what we have going on here is this guy is not a normal guy. He's a scanner. And a scanner, almost, say similar to something like The Shining for people who shine. Well, these people scan, and they can kind of read brains, and it's a hard physical process to do. A, for the people being scanned, and B, for the people scanning. It's like a hard block of energy, kind of like 11 and Stranger Things. I don't watch much of that, but I know that concept.
It's telekinesis things.
Correct. Thank you for that. Telekinesis.
Telekinesis.
Yes. So, that's what these scanners do. Well, this guy, he gets kidnapped by this special group, a guy named Dr. Ruth at this special kind of technological company. And they tell him, like, look, we need your help. We need you to find this guy who's a bad scanner. And we need you to we need your help to get this guy because he's, like, doing crazy shit. So we need your help. So he's like, all right. So he goes to try to find this guy. Well, this other guy, his name is Revik. And he's played by Michael Ironside. And he just looks fucking scary, this whole movie, dude. Like, first of all, we all know, just... Michael Ironside is the guy from Scanners, but let's be real. To my generation, I was born in 89, he was the fucking bad guy from fucking Free Willy, all right? He was the fucking bad guy from Free Willy, and I didn't like that. I didn't like that because that was scary to me when I was little. Do you remember Free Willy?
Who doesn't?
Free Willy was fucking scary. All right? That guy was scary. He said, we're going to kill the whale. And you're like, you better not kill the fucking whale, dude.
Don't kill the whale.
Yeah, I didn't like him at all. He just had that scary face. So, they're trying to find Revik. It ends up being a beautiful twist of fate, kind of a Star Wars tale, where Cameron finds out that Revik is his brother and Dr. Ruth is their father. But Revik is kind of a really evil dude, and he's got like a little army of henchmen, almost like kind of like brainwashed henchman scanner people to protect him and to keep him good. And they have a plan to make more scanners. There's this drug called ephemeral, and it was given to like pregnant women back in like the 30s or 40s, I guess, as a sample drug. And what happened was these women started giving birth to scanners, so they stopped doing it. But now this dude's mass producing it, and he's crazy. He's attacking other scanners. But our first introduction to Mr. Michael Ironside, well, Revik, I should say, is one of the coolest, most iconic horror movie scenes of all fucking time. So there's a demonstration going on where there's another scanner. And he's trying to show a room full of students and scholars how he scans. It's like a presentation. And he says, I'll need a volunteer, but I'll let you know this could be a little painful, and it'll be a little painful for me. And at this point, you don't know who the hell Michael Ironside is. He's just a guy in the crowd, and he's just like, yeah, I'll do it. And he goes down, and this guy... He tries to start reading his brain, and he starts scanning them, and he gets locked in. Come to find out that Revik is this badass scanner, and this guy gets so locked in, and he gets locked in so hard his head explodes. Now, if you're a viewer, if you're watching this right now and you're not familiar with that, you could look behind Ozark Mark and you can see a nice demonstration of what that looks like. Growing up for kids, this was just fun. This is just one of those, like, if you know, you know. But, like, you never forget the first time you see that fucking thing.
No, because it was an actual head exploding. Not like a human head, but an actual, like, it was an actual explosion. Because this is the 80s, people. This ain't no computerized bullshit.
That's right. CGI.
May look cheesy, but it was real.
Yeah, so that's... It's all together just... a really, kind of like last week, we picked Frailty. This is a really detailed story. I mean, we're here to kind of walk you through some of the parts and have fun there, but this is a detailed story. This might be one of those movies you could watch 2 or 3 times and pick back up different stuff. but it's an easy watch. It's not overcomplicated. The characters are funny. And let me tell you, too, you watch South Park, Ron. I mean, South Park's funny.
Dude, I was going to tell you that because when they're like battling each other at the end, all I could think of was that South Park episode when Cartman is a psychic.
Yes.
He claims to be psychic and he's running around trying to find, crimes, but there's other psychics trying to battle him with their mind and they all look like idiots. That immediately popped into my mind, dude, during this movie.
Yeah.
It made me laugh. It made me remind me of that episode.
Now, this wasn't about that psychic. Get out of here.
There's a dog in here.
Go upstairs.
Goodbye, dog.
Now.
It's like a zoo. This place is a zoo.
There's critters everywhere. So, in South Park, it almost seems animated or like whatever, but every time, obviously it's animated strong, but I mean the over-exaggeration how they do deaths and injuries, and the reason that's a thing or it's a trope is because of movies like this back in the day where it's like people that just got shot and it was like like people that just went full send, or like when men are actually like they're screaming, running around, and it's like, dude, they just don't do it like that anymore.
No, it's a lot of 80s cheesy acting in this at parts, and they just make you laugh. Like the part when he first gets captured and he's on the bed and the doctor brings all the people up and he starts hearing all the voices and he's just like going nuts in the bed. Like, how do you not laugh at that? Dude, it's hilarious.
It's hysterical.
Yes.
I love every part of that. It's just the deaths. You remember when because at first when Cameron Vale goes on his mission to find Revik, he goes to find this artist. What was that artist's name again? I'm forgetting his name. I just want to make sure that I'm not Benjamin Pierce. So he goes to this guy and he does all this crazy artwork, and he's a scanner as well, but he deals with it by making art. Well, Revik's bad people come to his little lair and they just start fucking blasting and they tear Pierce up, but the whole time he gets shot, he's just like, oh! Like he's just like, he gets shot in the back and like the most misfortunate like places. His like back, his back is arched and he just takes like a shot to the spine. He's just
dude, the knee one hurt too. What I loved about Revik's henchmen,
what?
Is they all had shotguns.
Yeah, they didn't.
None of them had pistols. They all had shotguns.
We're not playing.
No. If your group of henchmen has shotguns, they ain't fucking around.
Nope, they're not. Well, Cameron Vale also kind of teams up with this little team of good guy scanners, and they're like for the good cause, trying to take down Revik. And a lot of those guys get blasted, tore out with shotguns. But that one girl, Kim, she was a strong one.
Hottie, too.
Yeah. You remember when she blasted his Revik's soldiers to the wall? They come in blasting up everybody else, and she's just like, and blasts them to the wall, and they just catch on fire. And they're just immediately in
I didn't
flames.
expect them to just burst into flames. So, oh, God.
I know there's
it's intense, man.
There's a humor to the violence in this. But if you talk to Cronenberg, if you listen to his interviews, he says, I find to be a lot of my movies are comedies.
Oh, yeah.
And people are like, well, okay, but he gets it like we get it. We laugh at things, so that's what you want to see. That's what you want to see. And yes, the ending scene though to this, or the finale to this movie, when it comes down to Cameron Vale and Revik, and they're in this intense battle, and at the end it's some awesome bladder effects under the face. And they're like pulsing, and their heads are growing,
and their veins are just popping in, and they're like catching on fire and doing all kinds of crazy stuff.
It is an intense thing to watch. It definitely keeps your attention. You're like, what in the hell is going on, dude? Cameron starts peeling his face off, like.
It's cool special effects there too, because that's of course real stuff. So.
I like that. That kind of reminded me a little of Hellraiser. obviously Hellraiser came afterwards, but like when Frank gets all the hooks into him and he gets all... So that's what that face kind of reminded me of.
Yeah, it's very cool.
What's also cool is this. I mean, I'm an American, but I got love for Canada. Much love up there, Canada. But you gotta... This is what I think of when I think of Canadian horror. Like, I think of Scanners, The Fly. Like, I think of Cronenberg flicks. And I think this movie reaches out further than horror movie fans. I think regular people know, maybe not everyone, but especially older people that had VCRs in the 80s, they know about Scanners.
Well, it's got a story. That's what broadens the horizon of horror, is when it has a story.
Did you say broads?
Broads?
Are they coming here?
No. But when horror has a story like this, it usually brings in a lot more people, and a lot more people know about it. Versus...
Did you say whores? I'm sorry.
Shut up. But it does. It brings in a lot of... So that's why you're right. I think a lot more people know about this movie because of the story. It is an intense story. It's pretty intense. Twist at the end, of course.
Yeah, you think Revik wins.
But he doesn't.
And a twist of fate, Cameron.
What do you know?
He puts his body and Revik's body, like not sexually, but like spiritually. Right. And he switches, the shells.
Way to go, bud. Now you're unattractive and you look evil. You had a chance with your old looks with the girl, but now, not so much.
That guy would always scare the shit out of me.
Yes.
Like, you're destined to be a police chief. Like you've only got a couple of jobs with that face, And I'm not saying that there's not a lady out there that's, for you, especially the old generation.
Dude, just look around, okay? You look like, if that person could find somebody, there's somebody out there for everybody.
Oh, yeah.
All right?
That's a good point.
And I'm not saying that you're ugly, but everybody that's listening and heard what I just said has had that thought when they looked at somebody. Okay?
How is someone fucking you? I couldn't.
Oh, God. What's your favorite part of this movie? What's your favorite scene? Tell me about it.
Well, there's a lot of different fun parts, obviously, but I really enjoy the opening in the mall. I'm scanning here. I'm scanning the whole movie. I thought what was funny is when Cameron went to the the art exhibition or whatever it is, art exhibit.
Yeah.
Like they were selling all this art from Pierce, and that's how he was going to find him. But he went to this exhibit, and the main guy in charge selling. Cameron walks up and he's like, "Hey man, like I'm really interested in buying these pieces, but I want to speak to the buyer." And the guy's like, "Oh no, I cannot. That would break our policy here. It's a strict policy. I can't, meet him, or it would break everything." And he's like, "All right, but how about you just tell me where he lives, and I'll just go over there." And he's like, "No, I'm afraid I can't do that." And he's like, "Well, why don't you just think about where he lives?" And he just locks into him, and dude's like, "Oh, excuse me, I'm feeling ill." And he just like walks away. Like he had Porky Pig energy all day. If like Porky Pig was a human, it was that fucking guy. It was him.
Yeah.
He just had that, he just had that vibe to him. I saw him. It made me laugh. What about you? What say you, old Zoc?
Well, it was towards the end when they escape the facility and they stop at a gas station and they try to go to use the phone to, he scans in through the phone because he figures out, a computer's just like a nervous system, so you can go manipulate it. So he goes to a phone and tries to dial into their computer files and get all the files, which he does. But while he's doing that, Reddick, overrides the system to delete everything. But that causes chaos because the scanner's also in it at the same time, so it causes a whole big explosion and everything goes awry.
Asshole police chief guy. He was a fucking.
Oh, I'm sorry,
dick.
not Riddick, but that guy. Yeah, I'm sorry. I get my names mixed up, but
get him mixed up.
It was at the gas station. There was a guy sitting there pumping the gas, and the telephone line above him starts like sparking. And this is he just goes in the whole, he's definitely an extra. He's like, oh shit. He just drops the fucking pump and runs away. But he's like,
with this on.
Yeah, oh shit. He just fucking like runs, not even a good run, just like jogs away. Like the worst acting, but that was just so fucking funny to me. Shit.
I was an actor once. What'd you act in? I'll show you.
Oh shit.
You crushed it, man. Yeah, that is a very funny part too. Yeah, even funnier that like the sparking line was about to fall down, but his instinct is to like just let the gas pump fall in the ground by pumping gas. It's like, yeah, I think you're gonna like fuck your chances up more by doing that than if you just would have stayed there and hung the pump up.
Yeah, I think you just, or at least stopped it. You know,
you just hung it up.
Whatever. I like how everything started exploded too at the end. I like how the phone just was on fire and melting.
That looked awesome, dude. It was like
cool.
Dripping out that black like fluid, like melted plastic and like acid.
Mm-hmm.
Just unique looking. Something that's not seen in every movie. Something that you just don't catch all the time.
Tell me how the cop guy, like, what's his name? The cop guy, what was his name in the movie?
His name.
I forget his name.
God damn it. I will remember his name. Keller.
Yeah, where Keller's in that computer room and everything starts exploding. He's just in the center of the room. He's not near anything. And just all of a sudden, he explodes and goes through the door. Like, what exploded near him that caused him to launch out the door?
That one old guy's like, look, it's not that big of a deal. I told you, there's no big things, no explosions, no fireworks.
Then bam.
He just blows out a window. Yeah, that was intense. They took out my guy, Dr. Ruth, but he was kind of a dick for not telling, kind of setting up his son to find his other son. He should have just told him, you my boy. You come from my balls.
Should have.
But he didn't. He's a little liar. But Cameron lives on in his brother's body. The opera, like it's like an opera symphony, like I mentioned. I think this does well. The Fly is that way. They just build. The scenes just build and build. And he's quoted saying, like early on in his career, like when there's symphony shit, he's like, I just had to use a bunch of free use stuff. And like that's what I would do, and we'd layer certain parts. And then they had a good guy for the synth music and stuff and doing that. But just making movies, man. Doing the best you can. It's not fucking Home Alone. It's not one of these movies that have like its own symphony to it, or Jurassic Park. That's a lot of money. That's a lot of money to do that. So they're using free use symphony shit, stacking it on with it, and then they're using a keyboard and like all kinds of stuff.
Going hard on the keyboard. It's hard to play a keyboard.
Yeah, dude.
I tried it. I've never been able to play anything. Anything.
Ozark Keys. You could do it.
Probably, if I put my mind to it, but I don't want to.
You can do anything.
I'm not good with my hands, really, either.
I think you are.
Like, not like steady hand, like creative hands, like craftsmanship with my hands. No. Like, threading a needle, take me forever.
Yeah, that's
I'm not good with my hands.
What about your feet?
And some things. My feet?
Yeah.
I mean, I skateboarded. So you got to be kind of good with your feet there.
You kick a 35-yard field goal?
I think I can.
Empty stadium?
I really think I can.
Stadium full of people?
Let me try to make sure I can make it first. And if it's a stadium full of people, then I can do it too. Mm-hmm. I don't feel no pressure here. I want to see how long I can kick a field goal too.
If I wasn't a player, I feel like I would want the people there because they'd be like rooting for me. Everybody's like, yeah, this guy, get it, dude.
Yeah, but you got to be careful. You got to make sure you make it first because you fuck up.
Oh, yeah, people, but like nobody's
going to laugh at you.
Yeah, but you're not a kicker. So they're just like everybody's seen that at halftime where somebody just fails the half-court shot or like whatever. And you're just like, yeah, well, that's why you're not a professional.
Why don't they have that at halftime football games? Somebody tries to kick a field goal.
Oh, that'd be sick.
That would be sick. Like kick a 40-yard field goal and you get like $5,000 or something. something like that. I mean, how much are the half-court shots worth?
Oh, like 10 grand.
10 grand to do a 50-yard field goal. See if somebody kick... No, 40. 40-yard field goal.
I think 35 would be fair. Like, but you can't, like, I mean, I don't know. I think you just can't be a professional kicker.
Right.
And they would have to select it, but you get that, like, have you seen that guy in those, like, videos going around lately? He's like this guy with the pot belly, and he's on rollerblades, and he straight does a flip. And he says, you may not like it, but this is the peak male body. Like, you know,
Yeah, that.
like, that guy comes out and just nails it.
Yeah.
That's funny as shit, man.
It is.
Now, you know what we got in this movie as well?
What's
Ozark?
that? Why don't you hold that thought? Because we got to learn more things about this movie before we get into anything more about it. Hello there, welcome to the What Do You Know Here. This is a segment here where we're here to tell you, people, something that you may or may not know about this movie. Now, if this is your first time here, of course, we gotta go through the rules for your stupid ass. We're gonna tell you things we know about this movie. Now, you may know what we know, you may not know what we know, but if you know what we know, you're gonna have a we know-gasm. If you don't know what we know, you're about to find out what we know, and then you're gonna have a we know-gasm too, so everybody's gonna have a satisfaction in their pants when they hear these facts about this up in your ass. Thank you very much. So, why don't you tell me something that you may or may not know about this movie, Scanners, 1981.
It's scary.
Scanners!
It's scary.
It's very scary.
Well, that's what I know.
That's it? Okay, good.
No.
Why don't you...
Actually, no, I want you to go with yours first, because...
No.
All right, look here.
No, I told you. It's your turn.
I like your courtesy.
Thank you. I'm a very nice man.
You're a very nice guy.
Manners.
Look, this movie stars a bunch of people from horror movies from this time frame, okay?
Okay.
Now, I pulled out the list here because there's quite a few, and I just want to make sure that I don't miss any.
All right, let's run through it.
We got Michael Ironside. He's from Visiting Hours. You got Lauren Stain from Happy Birthday to Me. That's good stuff. Robert Silverman from Prom Night. Okay. Then we have Anthony Sherwood from Terror Train. Neo Affleck and Thomas Kovacs from My Bloody Valentine. This is a whole list of horror actors who are sticking together. They like to do spooky shit.
That's what you like to call a dream team.
I like that.
Thank you.
I like that.
Thank you.
What do you know about this movie?
I know something about this movie, so we're gonna go back to the infamous scene that's here in like 15 minutes into the movie. The infamous head explosion scene. Now, obviously, it's 1981. You saw the computers that are in this movie. They barely got computers, so this is all practical effects here. So how did they do it? Well, what they did was they put a gelatin head. They make the guy look like the guy, of course. They put a head full of gelatin. Okay?
Like Jell-O.
Yeah.
I'd eat it.
Of course, it's red. So, and then they stood behind it with a shotgun full of salt pellets.
Full of salt?
Yeah, full of salt. And so it just blasts through like buckshot. And that's why it exploded. And that was a pretty good fucking explosion.
Well, that makes sense.
That makes sense. That's how they did it.
That makes sense why his head went everywhere.
I wish I was the guy that made that shot.
I know, but you got like one shot, you know, you can't blow it.
That's why they did the salt. So because a shotgun, it spreads. Mm-hmm. So you got all those individual pieces of salt just blasting at the speed of light there, just pow. So it gets everything. It explodes, sir.
I wonder how much salt they used.
It was, I don't know, maybe like
a shell full. Yeah, probably the whole
probably
shell.
The whole shell. They probably filled that bad bitch up. And pow. Makes sense. I mean, they had shotguns all over the fucking set.
That would pepper you up. Like if somebody blasted what you do,
Ow, that would fucking hurt.
Yeah.
It made a head explode. It would go right through you. Why are we using bullets? Just fill it with salt.
It just doesn't. It just hurts real bad.
Dude, it reminds me of those damn salt guns that they use to kill bugs.
Mm-hmm.
Explodes them. Same premise, but with a gelatin head.
Yeah, just a bigger concept.
If that makes sense.
Bigger concept.
Yeah, bigger concept.
You gotta watch the sodium in your diet.
Or else that will happen. I think that's why they use that for diabetes commercials.
Yeah.
Or whatever it is.
It's you You don't want to, it's, cholesterol, or else your head's going to blow up like this. Too much salt to
That's
your
how they
brain.
should start the Cheerio commercials.
This guy didn't eat Cheerios. Now his head fucking
Do you want
blew
this
up.
to happen to you? Take a Meprazole or whatever the fuck you did, whatever it is.
Eat Cheerios.
If
and
your
head
feet
won't
start to get
blow up.
numb, go to the doctor, or else your head will explode.
Do you feel like your head's going to explode? Eat some Cheerios.
Cheerio, not the honey nut, the regular. Don't get the sugar kind.
I like Frosted.
Frosted is good.
Yeah, those are good.
You remember chocolate Cheerios?
Yeah, I think they're still a thing.
I think they are too. I don't know. I don't go down cereal aisle. I don't have kids.
Yeah.
The cereal aisle with the kid is probably horrific, isn't it?
They don't go to the grocery store with me. I'm smarter than that.
That's a good man.
Yeah, I go by myself.
I'm gonna go with him.
You know who I go with? AirPods. I go grocery shopping and then, I was digging the thing for COVID for a little bit, man. I had a mask and a hat on and,
Yeah.
I was just not even there.
And nobody was there because everybody was afraid.
Yeah.
I remember people started like wiping down their groceries when they got back. Like, stop it. Just stop it. You're being ridiculous.
Yeah, that's too
Lysol in a box of graham crackers. What's wrong with you?
Yeah, it's gonna taste like shit now. Everything's gonna taste like Lysol.
Okay, you know any more facts here?
No, I think that's it. Those are fun facts.
Okay, well, we're gonna go now. Thank you very much for coming. We'll see you later.
I'm just feeling educated now. We're walking down that road. We're running up that hill. You know that song? You know that one? All right, we're not doing that.
Don't do that anymore.
Just talking song lyrics out to people. Like, find out how long they take.
I saw one guy. He just texts random numbers in an area code, starts texting them like parts of lyrics,
Yeah, and they reply.
and they don't reply like the first couple, but then he just keeps doing it. Then they eventually get it. I think that's pretty funny. If somebody just started texting me lyrics like, what the fuck? Like, that would catch on. That'd be fun.
You know who wouldn't?
Who?
You know who wouldn't be about this? A fucking scanner. They would figure you out immediately. We need to discuss the fact how fucking freaky that is that somebody could read your mind.
Would you want that ability?
No. It seems painful, and it also seems like, I don't know, like maybe it could help you out, like if you could like go to the casino, that kind of thing.
I was thinking the same thing.
Yeah,
Just manipulate the roulette guy to make him fall on 00. Just like, dude, because they know how to like they're trained to like throw it in like a certain section. Like there's a train of how to throw it at a certain speed. They can't pick the exact number, but they can get it close. Mm-hmm. That's how they take your fucking money. Or a casino, like the dude can manipulate machines. Mm-hmm. I'm going to the slot machine that has the biggest jackpot. And I'm manipulating that machine to make it say that.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Dude, yeah, I kind of want to be a scanner.
Yeah, for that part would be cool because I'd be really rich.
Yeah, and they got serums to make you go to sleep. It's like they put you with a syringe, you go to sleep like NyQuil. What's the problem?
No big deal.
No big deal here. You could probably have some weird orgasms with people if you're doing it with another scanner in public.
Yeah, they're like, what are these two fucking doing? Or
I
brain
don't know
fucking.
if that's the thing is like, I don't know if I would ever want that ability to read people's minds or not. Everybody's always curious about it. But I feel like once you figure it out, you'd never want it. You would hate it.
You go see your parents, and they're like, we fucking hate our son. You're like, oh, no. I hate this. The whole day, like, you go to Burger King, they're like, this dude's fucking ugly. Why is everyone being so mean today? It's like, did I say that out loud? No, but I know what you said. Oh, fucking day.
Oh, my God.
I don't know. Like, I'll be thinking about the most random shit. So, like, I don't know. A scanner might scan me and be like, huh, that's kind of interesting. I don't know. Like,
You definitely wouldn't want to be a woman and be a scanner and read some dude's mind. Especially if you're like semi-attractive at least.
You go to read his mind and it's just,
It's like, yeah, I want to lick her butt. And she's like, oh my God. Oh my God. The nastiest shit. We're coming.
I drink her fucking bath water, man.
Oh, yeah.
And she's like, what the hell?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah. Yeah,
I'd suck a fart out of your ass, girl.
Yeah, I don't think they'd be able to handle the, obsceneness of our mind.
Right.
Tom Segura had a funny skit about that where he was like, I was talking to this girl and she's like, I got horny, I like eyes, dude. And I was like, no, you don't.
No, you don't.
No, you don't. You ever been at a fucking truck stop where they sell fucking porn with a glory hole in the back where you just some old man? There's one car in the parking lot and one man is sticking his wang through a hole, not knowing what's on the other side of that. You're not that horny. You're not. You're not. He said, men are disgusting.
Well, yeah.
It's like, now you got different classes of it. You got different levels of class, but I'm saying like the potential for nasty. Like I feel like even the most bottom barrel lady couldn't beat the nastiest of the bottom barrel of dude.
No.
Like it's just, I don't know. It's just something in our DNA. We're cavemen, man. All right. So I'm sorry, lady scanners. Don't read my brain because I'm gonna be thinking nasty shit. I'm just gonna be thinking it all day. Sorry. But if a dude, that might be cool. Because you could be thinking about something else. You could be in a bad mood, but you start reading his brain. He's like, yeah, I'm going to go fishing this weekend. You're like, yeah, that's a good idea. I think I'm going to go too. And you just go up to him and naturally like, hey, you want to go fishing? I was just thinking about that. Me too.
Me too, man.
We should go together.
Yeah.
You develop a lifelong friendship because he thinks that just that random moment.
Because every time he thinks of something, be like, I could use a burger today. Hey, man, I was thinking about go getting a burger. What?
It's got blown my
Might
mind.
turn him gay.
He's freaking me out, man. It's like a Jedi mind trick.
Jedi mind.
And that was kind of a popular theme at that time. Like this is, Star Wars time, the Jedi mind trick and the telekinesis and
Product of the environment, like you said before. That's when movies come out.
This was definitely it was a peak of curiosity for folks at that time. It is kind of cool, but it's just not talked about as much now. I feel like Stranger Things 11 was kind of like the most recent telekinesis thing, but really...
It all goes in cycles.
Mm-hmm. Very superhero-ish, though, right? Like, it's a superhero power in my... that's like the X-Men. Like, because to be like an X-Men, like, it's not like a life of glory. Like, those people have tough lives, too, because they're freaks,
Right.
Mutants. And I feel the same way. It's like an elite group of fucking super elite powered people, but their life is kind of miserable.
Yeah.
They need suits, like with spandex and like,
They gotta live in safe houses.
a logo. Yeah.
There's always some old doctor trying to guide them through life. It's the same formula.
Yeah. So, I think these guys could definitely be superheroes. And I'm going to be honest with you. I mean, I know Cronenberg's old. But what he should do is just have his son and him work together on a new fucking Scanners movie. I would really watch a movie about scanners. Like, especially nowadays. Because, like, I don't want a direct sequel, maybe. Nothing to that degree. But the world of Scanners. Like, it doesn't have to be Scanners 2. I just want to see Scanners in a movie. Like, I think that would be cool now. Like,
I think they could remake this movie.
They probably could.
Like, the same premise. It doesn't have to be exact like a remake, but it could be a nice homage.
Scanners.
I think it'd be good. It's in a detailed story. They can make it work.
I think
I feel like they could. Because there's some movies you can remake, some movies you can't remake. This movie, you can remake this.
I like when the remake is almost just like it just flows off, like it's not a true exact remake or an adaptation. It's just like in the world of kind of thing. I like that.
It's based on a true story type deal.
Mm-hmm.
It's like along those lines. Well, let's hop on down the trail and go through the portal to the Sloppy Horror Podcast rating.
Running down the hill now.
Sloppy Horror rating, baby, yeah! Hello there. Welcome. Thank you for coming here to, what is that?
This lighter says, "Oh, hello there."
Does it really?
Yeah.
That's weird because I cannot see that far.
But yeah, you just literally said that, and I looked at my lighter and it said that. That's weird.
Oh, hello there. Welcome to the one and only, one of a kind, guaranteed, fresh as a mother lover Sloppy Horror Podcast rating. This is the one of a kind horror rating system developed by your scary movie companion, Mr. Christian Ramey. Now, what he's going to do is we're going to go through a series of categories to rate this movie on a horror movie scale, not a movie in general, so keep that in mind. But, of course, you already know that because you're a fan of the show and you have been here for a while. So that's just for the newbies in case they don't know what's going on. So we're going to do this in a series of four categories. 3 of the categories are worth 3 points. Last category is worth 1 point for a total of
10 points altogether.
That's...
That was like a sad one.
Sometimes it's hard to get that. You'd think I would have that down as many times as I say it, but hey, sometimes it don't work so good.
Makes sense to me.
Thank you.
Get it.
Thank you.
I get it.
So let's go on to the first category here in the Sloppy Horror Podcast rating, and that is casting.
Some good acting throughout. It's another one of those movies that I really didn't think too hard on the rating of this. I just kind of, we're walking into this blindly. It's good acting, but it's like early 80s kind of, like, I feel like the script lacks in parts as far as, like, dialogue for it to, like, for example, I think Cameron is a great actor, but it's, like, got that very, what do you guys want from us? It's still got a tad bit of theater in it. Just a tad bit of, like, I don't see the big problem here. Like, just that has that almost TV cadence, if you will. So I feel like it's going to be a solid 1.5. I think it's right in the middle. It's good. Very good acting, but I wouldn't say elite, but it's the story is elite. The scanners themselves are elite. But I would say the casting, I mean, Michael Ironside's great. I thought everybody works great in the movie, but 1.5 is fair.
1.5 is fair. It fits. What more can you say? So that's 1.5 so far here on the Sloppy Horror Podcast rating. Let's get into the second category here in the Sloppy Horror Podcast rating, and that is kills.
Got a lot more in this, dude. There's quite a few in here. I mean, it's either a 2. I'm thinking 2, right? I don't think a 2.5, but definitely a 2. There's a wide variety. That head is definitely a point on its own.
And what we got? We got the head. We have the 4 cops. In the beginning, 2 guys explode in a car, 2 guys get shot, 1 guy's head explodes, fire, 2 guys we got people getting blasted with shotguns, we get, people dying in wrecks.
This might be a 2.5. That's a lot of variety. It's brutal. It's not a 3. I mean, it's not all the way sin, but a 2.5. It's got a wide variety.
Yeah, but most of them are Most of them are pistol kills or shotgun kills. The majority of them are gun kills. 2, I'd say. I'd say 2.
Okay. All right.
I'd say 2. Because, I mean, more than half of them are gun kills.
Yes, that's true.
That's when I think about it.
I'm thinking of the ending sequence and, like, the flesh peeling off and they're fighting and then they come into the room and find his burnt up carcass.
Yeah. Very cool stuff. But it's a 2. It's a 2.
All right, we'll stick with 2. That's fair, Ozark, Mark.
I think it is.
It's Cronenberg. I want to do him fair. I just want to make sure we're doing him fair.
We're doing him fair here. Come on. I mean, hey.
We're laying the shirt out and ironing out the wrinkles. That's what we're doing. I like that, too. That's a very solid score for kills.
Thank you. So that's 3.5 so far here on the Sloppy Horror Podcast rating. Let's get into the third and final 3-point category here on the Sloppy Horror Podcast rating, and that is fear.
This is definitely one of those half a points on fear. Maybe when you were younger might have been a little bit more freaky, but just a half a point. It's not scary as much of it is interesting or kind of fun because you're not a scanner. So, like, you're not really afraid of a group of scanners trying to kill you because you are a scanner. And you're not, like, involved with them. So it's freaky, right? Like, half a point, because you got to give it something.
Yeah.
It's a horror movie. It's got some intense scenes. I don't know, but It's hard for me because this almost feels like it gets a FUBU stamp because it feels like it's for horror people too. Like I liked this movie always. I don't really know if I was ever really like terrified. I mean, Michael Ironside's very creepy and he freaks me out, but like I don't know if it like really gave me nightmares like a Freddy or those guys did.
Nah, we'll go with that. So that is 4 out of 10 so far here on the Sloppy Horror Podcast rating. Let's get into the last category here for half a point each here on the Sloppy Horror Podcast rating, and that is rewatchability.
I'll give it, yeah. I like it.
I mean, yeah.
Yep.
I think it's rewatchable for sure.
Yep.
Story's good.
But it's not too complex where it's like annoying, where it's like these new ones.
No, I was kind of falling asleep like halfway through it. Like there was not just a little bit, just because like midway through the story, it's when they get slow. But then when the action pops back up, then you're back up in it.
Yeah.
But it's rewatchable. I think it's rewatchable because the story, and of course you got the kills and stuff and the gore.
A little action.
Yeah, there's a little action there, little cool little moments. So that is a total of 5 out of 10.
Very fair score.
For Scanners here on the Sloppy Horror Podcast rating.
Mm-hmm. Folks, it's not all about the kills. It's not all about the cast. It's not all about the fear. It's about all of them put together. Okay? And how does it rate? All together depends on how it scores. Okay?
All together.
All together now. I think, honestly, I don't know what his scariest movie would be, but they all have, like, an element of, like, hell yeah, like, I like this. Like, it's like almost like, I mean, this would be the 5th time I mentioned, but like a superhero. Like, I like this guy. It's kind of creepy and fucked up, and it's like Blade or something. Like, yeah, this is kind of creepy, but I like you, dog. Like, I like the way you're throwing it down. I like what you do. I'm jealous. I want those powers. You know, you'll have that mindset a lot. You're like, oh, okay. I want to be able to catch people on fire. Maybe not the headache part and the part of like freaking out, but if I could just play the casino, all right? I've went over this. We've reviewed this now. Like,
yeah, just give me like a light version of it. Like, give me like a half-breed.
Yeah, but after thinking this over, it might be a thing I would do. That's a superhero power that you have to consider. An attribute.
I could definitely figure out the best way to use it for my own benefit.
Yeah.
And the benefit of others, too, okay? I'm not, complete asshole here. I would help certain people out if I felt like it.
Yeah.
Depends on the mood. You know, when you have this random parts of your life where you're like, I feel like I have to do a good deed to you today for some reason. I don't know why. Just random. See somebody suffering and it gets to you or something, be like, I'll help you out. Mm-hmm. I'll be a good deed here, a good person for you today.
I'll be talking to him like the guy, like, what's his name from The Shining? You want some ice cream, Doc? I'd be like, what the fuck's wrong with you? Why are you talking to me like this? What do you say, Doc? How's some ice cream? He had The Shining. He kind of looked like a California raisin, but it's okay. Scatman Crothers, it's not a big deal. He's a great part in that movie. How did he die? An axe. Okay, but he was able to talk to people with mental powers.
Yes.
I mentioned The Shining earlier, and I never really kind of put that comparison together until this evening, but it does kind of have like, you got the ability to read people. Although The Shining was more scary. Like they were dealing with scary shit.
Yeah.
This feels more...
This is more like superhero action.
Yeah, Firestarter. If you've seen Firestarter, that kind of falls in that same realm as well.
Yeah.
And Stranger Things. Like an agency chasing after a mutant breed that they can't keep control of.
Yeah, so it's a very familiar story. It's been around for a while. People like it. It works. It's always good. It's fun for the whole family.
I feel like it is a good napping time movie, too. Especially when it's rewatchability time, though. If you're just putting this on and just like, that's a good one, bro. I can probably pass out the Scanners, like in a good way.
Yep.
It's just calming. It's a peaceful movie to me.
Those 80s are. That style of movie is.
I like the fact that still, not only are the jackets going on, but like you had like all the flannels and the bubble vest. I'm telling you, go back and watch that fucking Pierce get blown apart. Watch this guy's like chest, stomach, knees, back. They all get blown out, but in his fucking vest. I don't know why that's funny to me when he's like in his hunter's outfit, but you go back and all these guys got like flannel button up to the top button. 100% always tucked into them jeans. Never not, baby.
Nah, you got to.
Yeah, never not. Now, I wear a lot of flannels, but, like, it was a different kind of flannel back then. You know what I'm talking about?
Right.
That, like...
I don't remember seeing... That's when I see a flannel that's untucked. I'm like, what's wrong with this?
Yeah,
What's wrong with this? I feel like it's got to be tucked in.
It's just funny to see that whole... From the wardrobe to the way people talk to the...
Dude, when do you think tucking in clothes is going to come back?
I mean,
it's
nice for dress stuff. I mean,
right,
I
well,
do
dress stuff. I'm talking about, like, regular clothes.
I don't know if that's ever going to come back like that.
No.
Them old men, they do that shit. They just have regular ass, like, graphic T-shirts tucked into their jeans.
I know.
You're like, why do you got a Garth Brooks T-shirt tucked into jeans, nerd? And it'll be up here today to the rib cage, to the bottom.
All that has to happen is for a famous person to start doing it, or an influencer to start doing it.
Oh yeah, you bust out that braided belt and a nice chambray shirt, a jean shirt for the. Oh yeah, that guy could build you a shed. He can hunt.
So you tucked in shirts with belt buckles. They'll be back.
If you see an older gentleman with a tight flannel T-shirt tucked into jeans at right above rib cage level, that guy, trust that man.
Don't fuck with that guy.
Yeah, and he can help you.
Yeah.
Sir, I need help. I'll take care of you. I've seen some things.
Okay.
Look, me and this flannel been together 35 years. We seen some things. Look, you've got another movie that you want to talk about next week, don't you?
Do I?
I don't know.
I've been trying to think of some Wildcard movies here.
Oh, I thought that's what you were stewing down there. I thought you looked like you were about to tell everybody, like, look, this is next week's movie.
No, because we don't know, because it's the Wildcard season.
Wildcard.
You don't know what's happening. We don't know what's happening.
I don't even know where I am right now.
Neither do I. But
I had pants on.
oh man.
Getting the fuck out of here. Yeah, that's a good point, though. We're shooting from the hip, but
think about it. What have all the Wildcard movies been so far? Standalone movies.
they have.
They've all been standalone movies. Most of them.
They've been fun. This has kind of been a fun season. I've really been enjoying this because we have been throwing some curveballs out there.
Oh yeah.
Frailty, people really liked that one. They took off.
Who doesn't like Frailty?
I knew people would be excited for that.
We know what we're doing. And they're going to be just as excited for this.
Mm-hmm.
And you know what? They're going to be just as excited for the next movie that's come out.
Oh, yeah. Next week is going to be intense. We're talking Spy Kids 3D. It's so fun. So fun. And, when I was a kid, I watched... No, I don't think I actually have ever seen Spy Kids.
No, yeah, you have. That's why you just said it out loud.
I really don't think I have.
No, you have. I've seen the DVD on your stack over there.
Look, I was only in the fan club for like 3 fucking months, dude. You got to bring it up every time.
Well, I'm sorry.
I don't want people to know my obsession of Spy Kids.
Well, now they do.
The tattoos aren't invisible spots.
You look like a fucking spy kid.
I just want them to return my letters. Like, I write them letters all the time.
I just want them to return my letters.
I sent them my hair. I've sent them photos, and they don't want anything to do with me.
Oh, God.
Maybe I should chase them more. Like, the restraining order is only 100 feet. I can make myself visible from 100 feet.
Oh, absolutely. So, with that, boys and girls, it's been a great episode with you again once, and it always will be. So, let's get the fuck out of here and get working on next week.
Yeah, are we going to watch Spy Kids?